All right, what's up, guys? Coming back with another trade recap. This time trading ticker symbol MRANA, aka Moderna stock. In this video, I want to do an in-depth analysis of the raw price action that allowed us to catch roughly a 10-point move this morning at the open and why we were short biased heading into this week. So, as usual, I like to get an understanding of the bigger picture in the stock's raw price action, the trend, and finding out who's in control. So to begin, we can see that Moderna made a huge run during the month of July, heading into August from 200 nearly 500 before pulling back, consolidating, making its first attempt back to those all-time highs, for pulling back slightly, consolidating, and making a second attempt to that all-time high before falling short at that previous rejection resistance zone and beginning its fall down. So one of the things that I like to do when trying to short stocks that are reaching an all-time high or trying to find fight the trend is identifying important pivot points using the Fibonacci retracement. So the first Fibonacci retracement that I like to do is from the all-time high all the way to the start of the run. So we can see that this run, the midpoint is going to be around 355. So that's going to be around right there, and I will drop this off just to mark it. So this zone is going to be very, very strong to break. So I'll go ahead and delete that. I will then draw, or I then drew another Fibonacci retracement from that all-time high to the swing low. And then I was able to find this midpoint at around 422. So I knew that 422 was going to be another point of interest where a lot of people were either close to break even, underwater, or slightly in profits. And then obviously we have these two levels right here of major resistance where they rejected the all-time high, and then these two right here. So that one. So now that we've identified the points of interest, we've got to do a further analysis on the shorter term price action. So on the shorter term, we can see that Moderna was having an extremely difficult time making its way back to 500, especially with no recent positive news to support the stock in another leg up. Moderna has just struggled making its way above 500. So it rejected the 460 once here and then the 455, roughly 460 mark again right here. So another bearish, I guess you could say, confirmation or signal is that it took Moderna 4 days to make a 5%, actually a 10% move, and it took it roughly 1 day, a day and a half to give up that. So you can see that it's a lot weaker on the upside and a lot stronger on the down moves. You can see it here as well, making a 12% move, 11% move down in just 2 days. And look here, 8% move in 3 days. So you can see that the strength is really on the short side. So now that we've done sort of a bigger picture analysis, let's look at why I was short biased and why this was a perfect setup for a short this week. One is because this chart was forming a double top. It was, well, I guess you could say, there you go, there's the double top. Now, obviously, we didn't have this candle right here until the end of today. But if you saw this drop right here, you could picture that eventually price could potentially leak below and especially with 420 being a point of high liquidity, there was going to be volatility present in this zone. Now, so you're coming off of double top after struggling to get back to the previous all-time high, rejecting the 460 twice. That is plenty of confirmation to go to consider a Moderna short as long as no news is present. If we break it down further, let's take a look at the 10-day, 30. Let me see, actually 30-day, 30-minute. You can see that Moderna was also, so here's the double top, right? That was forming, but you can also see that Moderna within the last 4 or 5 days was forming a triple top, a inverse head and shoulders was in the process of forming sort of a, I'm sorry, not even an inverse head and shoulders, a head and shoulders, right? So this was the move that we were trying to capture. So Monday, this morning at the open, we were looking for an immediate rejection, roughly in this area right here, right there. The ideal entry for the short was going to be around the 436 to 440 area if it ever got there. If it struggled to even get there, that was a clue to get in early, or get in as soon as possible. So we entered with the 420 puts expiring October, October 8th at 426 right here at 635. We got in. The ideal entry was going to be in this zone from 436 to 440 if price ever got there. The fact that it didn't was an immediate sign to get short and get short, anticipating that price would break the 420 and eventually get to that 410. So we entered at 635 and exited at 735, which was roughly right here on this point right here. And the reason why we exited at this point right here at 635, at 735, is because it was just having it was just taking a long time trying to go lower. So it spent nearly 30 minutes consolidating. So once it had made it to this price level, it just really seemed like it couldn't push down anymore. So kind of glad that we got out here. Otherwise, we would have been caught in this retracement, probably sold for a break even or a smaller net profit. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the buy and the sell. So we bought the 420 put expiring next week at 15.50, and we sold it for 22.50 for a net gain of 700. Time in the trade was roughly 1 hour, and we did that this morning at the open. So we can see that here we're just simply using points of interest, chart patterns, sentiment, finding reasons why we think that the stock won't go up, and further solidifying our short thesis. We take the trade, and then we manage it, and that's how we keep our trade simple. I do wish that I could have added on this, but because it happened so quickly, I honestly didn't get a chance to add where I felt comfortable. If it would have popped into the 436 to the 440 area, I for sure would have ended up the day with maybe 2 or 3 put contracts further that would further my gains, but we didn't get it. Nonetheless, a great trade.